Hey guys, welcome to day 25. Can you believe it? All right, so if you're just joining me for the first time, today's the 25th time I've come live to you to share with you what I'm learning in this book, and it is called 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself, and it is by Stephen Chandler, and it's how how to change your life forever. So, hey ladies, so I'm going to just share with you guys some really cool bits from this one. I'm not going to read any of the book. I took some notes and I think I captured the gist of what he's attempting to say here. Do you guys, LJD, or would you or Dustine let me know if you guys can hear me okay? So day 25, just give me a thumbs up or something. Jared, Poodle, hi. Okay, good. You can hear me okay. So day 25 is to find your inner Einstein. The author goes into how you should grasp this concept so much. Thank you. You should grasp this concept of channeling finding your inner Einstein so much that every time you see a photograph of Albert Einstein, you should look at that picture and go, oh, hey, there I am. Because what Einstein has to teach us on day 25 of how to motivate yourself is pretty big deal. So in order to be like Albert Einstein, the author says that we need to habitually use our imagination. Now, for adults, for most of us, we really struggle with this because we are in such a grown-up culture and such a grown-up point in our lives, obviously, where we've replaced the programming for imagination and we've replaced it with worry. And think about how many times in a day you are actually imaginative versus just all consumed with worry. You're probably always thinking about, what's coming next, and you're not necessarily in the moment and or using your imagination to think your way outside of the box. So all of our energy is usually on worry, if we're alone with our thoughts. Now, one of the things that the author talks about is how a lot of people who are chronic worriers tend to have higher IQs than people who are not chronic worriers. And what he means by that is that people who have perceivably lower IQs are often more artistic, more of the creative type, but the reality is that these people might not have a lower IQ as much as it is that they have better skills at truly accessing their genius. And so Albert Einstein, you probably heard this phrase before, that he thinks that imagination and creativity is far more important than knowledge. Thank God. And the author challenges us to think back to when we were children and how when we were children, we had so much capability to dream and to pretend on a constant basis, and that we just had boundless self-confidence. And so there's a link there between our self-confidence and our dreaming, and how we need to just kind of slip back into that from the perspective of simplifying things. Drop the worry and channel your inner child, he says, and this will likely help you to solve a great deal of your problems. Albert Einstein went on to say imagination is more important than knowledge, as I mentioned. I think obviously knowledge is important, but I think that imagination is something that we just overlook a great deal in our culture. Most of what we need to know, once we see that information alone is not all that we need, wait, how did I write this? Most of what we need to know, once we see that information alone isn't all we need, is skill. Skill to proactively use our imagination. That's one of the biggest things we need to hone, is our skill to actively dive into our imagination. And I think what he's talking about here is, to come up with imaginative ways to think outside of the box, maybe with whatever situation you're dealing with, but also to just dream, even just getting a vision for your life. when you dream, you're creating a vision for what is possible. And it even says in the Bible that write the vision and make it plain to see. And I just truly think that there's, that's a huge part of everything I'm seeing in this book so far. It's all about vision. It's all about dreaming. It's all about enlarging that vision, enlarging it, and, creating vision boards, doing all the things. But he goes on to say to be bold enough to dream, because when you cease to dream, you cease to live. I don't know if you guys can hear screaming, but there's a sleepover going on here. So when you cease to cease to dream, you cease to live. And when, think about it. If you're doing what you've dreamed of doing in this life, you're living. But if you're not doing what you thought you should be doing, you feel like life's a chore. So that might really resonate with you, and it kind of challenges you to just really, get outside of yourself and to dream a little bit more. And then the parting thought I have for you is, when you wake up tomorrow, realize that you have two choices. You can sleep and continue to just dream, or you can wake up and remember that dream and start to chase it. So there you go. The challenge to you today on day 25 is to find your inner Einstein, to understand that your creative energy is just as important as your intellect, and to leverage that creative side of you to dream big, and then to realize that dream, if you can dream it, you can do it. It's just a matter of being aware of the fact that you have the dream, and aware of the fact that the next step you need is to have a plan. There you go, day 25. See you on day 26. Have a good evening. Bye.